Hey there, I am so thrilled to have you here today. We're about to jump straight into an incredibly exciting and genuinely transformative lesson. Today, we're digging into the very first chapter of the book of Romans. If you've ever wondered what it means to be truly bold or where real life-changing power actually comes from, well, you're in the right place. Get ready because what we're going to unpack today has the potential to completely reshape the way you view your faith, your education, and your future. I want you to really think about this for a second. Have you ever felt embarrassed to stand up for something you strongly believe in? Maybe it was defending a friend when others were talking about them, holding true to a rule when everyone else was breaking it, or maybe even talking about your faith at school. It's a very real feeling. It takes immense personal bravery to stand firm when you feel like you're standing completely alone. Well, today, we're going to look at someone who faced that exact challenge, but on a massive global scale. Section 1, Standing Boldly for Jesus. Let's dive right into this foundational truth that sets the stage for everything else. This is Romans chapter 1, verse 16. I want you to hear this powerful memory verse. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God to salvation for everyone who believes. I challenge you to notice those specific, bold words right at the beginning, not ashamed. And then look at what immediately follows. Power of God. The writer here isn't just whispering some nice, comforting thought. He is loudly, confidently declaring his absolute fearlessness because he knows he has something incredibly powerful.
Section 2. Meet the messenger. Who is Paul?
Paul isn't just a character in a storybook. He was a real, historical person with an extraordinary, world-changing mission. He calls himself two very specific things. First, a bondservant. Back then, a bondservant wasn't just someone doing chores. It was someone who willingly committed their entire life to serving their master out of pure love and loyalty. Second, he calls himself an apostle, basically an official messenger or ambassador, sent on a specific life-saving mission. Imagine an ambassador carrying an urgent life-or-death pardon from a powerful king to a distant city. That's exactly how Paul saw his job. He was carrying the most important message in the universe. Now, what's really interesting here is how Paul firmly establishes his identity in Romans 1:1 before he even starts teaching anything else. He is a bondservant of Jesus Christ, completely devoted. He's called to be an apostle, personally assigned by God. And he is separated to the gospel of God, meaning his whole life is entirely set apart for this one specific purpose. When you know exactly who you are and what you're called to do, just like Paul did, there is absolutely no room left for being ashamed.
Section 3. The Promised Savior. An ancient promise kept.
So what exactly was this gospel, this good news that Paul was so dedicated to? It wasn't just some new idea he dreamed up. It was an ancient promise kept. God promised this gospel long ago through his prophets, and it was entirely about God's Son, Jesus Christ. Romans 1:3 and 4 beautifully breaks down Jesus' dual nature. On one hand, we see his humanity. Jesus was born from the family line of King David according to the flesh, perfectly fulfilling ancient prophecies. But on the other hand, we see his divinity. He was declared the Son of God with absolute power by his resurrection from the dead. He wasn't just a great teacher from a royal family line, he proved his divine, unstoppable power by literally defeating death. Section 4. Destination Rome. Paul's ultimate mission. This message was so huge that Paul couldn't just keep it to himself. He set his sights on the ultimate destination, Rome. At the time, Rome was the absolute center of the known world, the most powerful, influential, and frankly intimidating city on earth. Yet, Paul was incredibly eager to go there. Why? Well, he didn't just want to visit as a tourist to check out the Colosseum. He had three distinct goals. Number 1, to encourage the believers who were already there, facing really tough times. Number 2, to strengthen their faith so they could stand firm. And number 3, to boldly preach the gospel. He wanted to build up the church and share this unbeatable good news in the most important city in the world. Section 5. The power of salvation. Why we believe. So the absolutely crucial point here is why? Why was Paul willing to risk his life, travel across the world to a dangerous empire, and declare this message without a single ounce of embarrassment? The answer is simple. The gospel equals the power of God to salvation. I want to remind you, the gospel isn't just an old story written in a dusty book. It's active, living power. It's the very power of God that brings salvation to everyone who believes. When you're holding the cure to save people's lives, you don't hide it in a corner embarrassed. No way. You shout it from the rooftops. That is the power we believe in.
Section 6, for everyone, Jew first, also Greek.
This gospel is for absolutely everyone. Now, let's seamlessly connect Paul's bold intellectual faith to your own academic journey today as an 8th grade student. Being a student right now isn't just about passing tests. It's about forming who you are going to be. Look at this profound verse from later in Romans chapter 8. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. This right here is the very foundation of the HeroesMart Academy Godly Learner philosophy. True learning, the kind that actually matters, requires keeping your mind spiritually centered on God.
This brilliantly illustrates why we do what we do. Education without biblical morality can actually hurt you. Without a moral compass, knowledge simply makes a person more capable, and sometimes more capable of making destructive choices. But education with biblical morality, that's what we strive for. We intertwine faith and academics so that your growing intelligence empowers you to pursue God's truth, wisdom, and righteous choices. It leads exactly to what Romans 8 promises, life and peace. As we wrap up today's lesson, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. How will you use your education to honor God today? You are being equipped with incredible knowledge right now. I challenge you to be just like Paul. Step out boldly. Do not be ashamed of the gospel, and do not be ashamed to be a godly learner. Let your mind be centered on God, let your choices be wise, and let your education be a powerful tool for His glory. Have a wonderful rest of your day and keep standing strong.